to show you our air brakes. The air brakes is a very typical thing on gliders. Are of good size, and what it does is when you fly, step on the wing, left hand, left foot, right foot, turn around, and sit down.
Yeah, it's really easy. I'm glad to introduce Andreas. He's a big fan of aviation, and let Andreas to introduce himself.
So my name is Andreas Clauss. I'm working for PureFlight now for almost 2 years.
Okay.
We have revamped the company the last 2 years, and now we are showing the first time the Fnix after the revamping on the show. Fnix is a well-established product. It has its roots in the Lambada, the same designer, and we have about 60 machines flying now around the world.
Quite a lot.
Yeah. So there are 30 in the US, we have 18 in France, and the rest is a little bit all over the world. Machines are flying in Australia. We have in Scandinavia a few units. So the machine is.
And where is the production?
Production is in the Czech Republic.
Okay.
And so from there we distribute around the world.
And tell about a bit of history, when the project generally started.
The Fnix was developed basically around 15 years ago, and it started off as the similar base like the Lambada. It's a motor glider, ultralight motor glider with removable wingtips. So that is a big distinction factor. And so the machine really hit the market as of 2010. The electric version is really the same plane, the same fuselage, the same wing, etc. So the only difference is the motorization in the front.
Yes.
So that is not a Rotax, it's an electric engine, and the batteries that are in the wing.
They're in the wing.
They're in the wing, and they are in the place where the fuel tank is.
Okay.
So that's
on that aircraft, it's a fuel tank in the wing, and
on
here
that
is the
aircraft
batteries.
is the battery.
So in fact, if you have a next generation of batteries, probably it would increase their performance.
Yes, absolutely.
So
absolutely.
let's just wait for Elon Musk, or
or
maybe for your company.
Yeah, be my guest. So I wanted to show you one of the features that makes the Fnix really unique. We have the long wing version that you can see here, and that's the version for motor glider with a glide ratio of 30. And what we can do is we can change the wings, and I'm going to demonstrate that to you.
Tell us how easy it is.
So it's just a pin that we take out, and you do this.
Okay.
You put it aside, and you take the new wing and put it on.
Okay.
So
it's just
it's
20
very,
seconds,
very easy.
30 seconds?
It's 30 seconds.
Yes.
And put it back.
So it's fixed again.
You have another plane.
Yeah, sure.
Well, it is popular because it's falling actually in a niche, and there are not many players in that niche of motor gliders. This is a machine, as you can see. We have an electric version. We have a combustion engine version with Rotax. It allows you to do thermal flying, so it has a reasonable glide angle, as we say. So out of 1 kilometer, you can glide about 30. It's not a sailplane. A modern sailplane is flying 60 kilometers far, but it allows you to also travel. You take your short wings. It is smaller, more maneuverable on the airport, very maneuverable in the air. It has a fantastic fuel consumption. I fly with my machine at 12, 13 liters at 200 kilometers an hour. It has an autonomy of almost 1200, 1300 kilometers. So before you hit that, you usually have to land because there's some sort of a fatigue. So those are some key criteria of the plane, and again, it's a niche market. It's not the typical small traveling company, traveling planes, but we target really the people that want to do thermal flying, but also traveling. That's the advantage of the machine.
So it's for one passenger, yes?
It's
two. Okay.
Two.
So it's good for family, yes?
It's good for family. I travel a lot with my wife, and
she likes that? She doesn't afraid that?
No, she loves it. She even sleeps in the plane.
Really? So she really feels herself safe.
Oh yeah. No, it's a side-by-side cockpit, so it's very nice for communication. It's not like when one sits behind the other in a sailplane, because there are also two-seater sailplanes. But here we sit next to each other. You can communicate, you can share, and so that makes it very, very nice and fun for traveling.
If your bird is weather dependent, or you can fly any weather, or
well, I mean, you have VFR rules, and that's what we have to comply with. It is a plane that I'm not hesitating flying in turbulences because it's very forgiving. It is solid. We fly in the US 600 kilograms. In France right now, or in general, we have the 473 kilogram certificates, but we will obtain the 525 and the 600 in Europe within the next 6 to 12 months. So it's a very, very solid plane. It's the fuselage is made out of carbon, so it provides a lot of trust.
What would be rough price for the flight hour?
The flight hour, I know my numbers, so I fly 150 hours per year. And if I have also a casco included in the number I'm sharing with you, so that covers about 100,000 for a loss, total loss.
Yes.
You need to count about 100 euros an hour.
100 euros an hour.
100 euros an hour, which is, I also fly.
That's including fuel.
That's including fuel, but the fuel is not the biggest cost.
Okay. What are the major costs?
It's the insurance.
Yes.
That is certainly, but it's a fixed cost.
Okay,
so the more you fly, obviously, all the costs come down. But it is. It is. I think it's a reasonable cost for having a top quality plane, and it does include this depreciation. So it's a 20-year depreciation cost that I gave you.
Can you give a price idea on the machines?
The machine is about 140,000.
It doesn't matter if it's electric or.
Well, the electric is more expensive because you have a big chunk of the cost is the battery.
Yes.
So the electric, it's north of 180,000. Okay.
So, approximately 40,000 plus.
Yeah, at least.
But then you're safe on the fuel.
True. It all depends on how many hours you fly.
For how many hours of the flight the batteries lasts?
Well, we have on the machine right now we have 2.5 hours of autonomy, so you can do 2-hour flying and you have to have half an hour reserve.
Yes. So it's
it's 2 hours.
So it's 300 kilometers or?
Yes, because the cruising speed you're not going as fast as you do with the other. So it boils down to about 300 kilometers autonomy.
So 2 hours, so it's substantially faster than car, I believe, and
and you go straight line. Huh? Don't forget that. With a car, it's very.
But still, you need airport.
Yes, of course. But it's a very economic traveling. When you translate into the numbers that we know from the cars.
Yes.
When on the Rotax machine, if you use 12 liters, 13 liters per hour, and you travel 200 kilometers an hour, that boils down to about 6 to 7 liters per 100 kilometers.
Yeah, it's much less than the standard car.
And you go straight line.
Yeah.
So in terms of transportation cost, it's very, very effective, and that's something that we need to, as the ultralight community, we need to promote that, because when we look at the certified aircrafts, they very often are north of 30, 40 liters per hour, and most of them fly 2 people on board. So the cost is not spread over 4 people. So then it's mainly 2, so exactly the same as we have here.
Yeah.
And we burn about a third or a quarter of the fuel. So our carbon footprint is much more favorable, and we're making less noise. So this is a big advantage for the ultralight, especially our plane, because our aerodynamics are so good that we consume really, really low fuel.
People are voting for green, but classic engines, you just refuel, it just takes 20 minutes, and refill the batteries here. Which time it takes?
If you have a 20 kilowatt charger, it takes about 20 minutes.
20 minutes, but I assume not in all airports you have it, or?
It depends on the overall acceptance of electric vehicles. If you go to Scandinavia,
it's not
basically all airports have loading stations.
Yes.
If you go to France or to Germany, only a few airports, or in Switzerland, there's the one in Fribourg that has a charger. So it depends.
But what would happen if you come to airport and they don't have charger?
Well, you need to get a genset, or you have to just drink a few coffees, because when you load with 20 kilowatts,
yes,
then it takes 20 minutes.
Yes.
If you can only plug it in a normal charger,
yes,
so you charge with 2 kilowatts, then it takes you 20 minutes times 10.
Yeah.
Okay. So that takes 200 minutes.
Oh, you can have a lunch, or
right.
in these
so
accidental
it is then.
So it's not that difficult.
It's not a showstopper for flying. It just takes then 3 hours, and you can do something else. If your objective was to do some sightseeing, well, plug it in. We have a Mini at home, without making advertisement for Mini, but we charge overnight, and he has never seen a power charger.
Mm-hmm.
So it is possible.
Yeah. Okay, it's interesting. Any new models you present at the show, or it's
no? It's basically, as I said in the beginning, we are revamping the company. Our objective is to build a sustainable business. So we have ramped up the production. What we're trying to do is get to about 10 to 20 units per year, sustainably, and supply the markets that we talked initially about, that had been abandoned in the last 3-4 years, just because there was not enough products available.
And COVID influenced your business somehow, or not?
No, not really, because we were not in a very critical period that needed a lot of manpower to produce planes when the COVID had reached its peak. When the COVID wave kind of came through, that's when we started really producing as of second half of last year. So we got a little bit affected. Some employees had COVID, but in general, we had other problems. Let's put it this way.
But I mean, it's a good reference that it's produced in Czech Republic, because it's in Poland and Czech Republic. It's a long history of small aviation.
Absolutely. And also, they have a lot of history with carbon fabrication. So you can see
that's probably
a lot
even more important.
Yes,
these days.
absolutely. And they can fabricate excellent product at I would just say the most competitive cost in Europe.
And where in Czech Republic is it?
In the greater area of Ústí.
Okay, and what do you think about this show? Do you like the show? Do you like? Have you made any transactions here?
No, we haven't. We haven't had any signed contacts. But for us, the objective was to send the message out to the world. Hey, we're back, and we are sharing the plans what we have with our customers. It is certainly provided us a forum to get some confirmation on some ideas. I had a few customers stopping, and they're coming more from the sailplanes, so they would like to see us increasing our glide ratio from 30 to 35. Well, thank you for that input. And so we have people that are taller than me, 1.90 meters. They wanted to do a sit jack, and we shared with them our plans to provide more space in the plane. So those are some.
190 is convenient, or?
No, 190 can fit. Yeah, but you will. I would be okay, but some other people that are a little bit more bulkier, it's getting cozy. It's
Yes.
not that you feel constrained, but it's just a bit more cozy.
Okay. And if client want to buy it, what is the waiting time for this machine?
We have right now about 6 months. So if you sign an order today, you can have your plane, let's say, in September.
And do you have a mass production or production only after orders?
We produce only after orders.
Okay.
But that's something that might change with time. If we know that there is a continuous order flow coming in, we can just say, okay, based on the orders that we are predicting, and that goes also along with the fact that you go into more markets. So if one market is down, the other one can compensate for it. So with that, we can say, okay, let's just produce. We know that the plane basically is not going to change. What the biggest changes are is the instrument panel, and that's something that we could say, okay, we produce the plane, and the customer does his modifications or comes to us and says, okay, I want to have a product X installed. Then the delay of the delivery is obviously more on the instrumentation, but that's something that we can manage over time.
And the statistics, safety statistics.
We had cases where people were just going above VNE, and that had led to some issues. But overall, it's a very, very sound design. But obviously, you need to respect your flying envelope.
Sure.
Sometimes in the ultralight environment, when somebody says, "Hey, the VNE is of X," well, it can go faster. But we don't have necessarily the rigor that you have with certified planes. But in general, it is a very, very safe plane. I've been flying in turbulences. It's very safe. It has some features that we'd like to share with you later on. We have, as a traveling plane, when you fly with the short wings, we still have the benefit of air brakes. So if you suddenly have an engine out, that allows you to make a very, very steep approach. You would have to take it really slide it typically, but with our air brakes, we can do it very controlled. You can land on a 150 meter field if necessary. So that provides you a great deal of safety, which is important when you travel.
Do you have any funny stories from your business? Sometimes you like to tell, for example, wife of your client asks for green or red or whatever, or I don't know, somebody flying with their perroquet or something like that.
Well, my wife is going to kill me, but we were on a flight to La Rochelle.
Yes.
It's basically 3.5 hour flight one way.
Yes.
And on our way to La Rochelle, we had very little radio contacts, and the air was quite calm, so she fell asleep.
Mhm.
And it is also, I mean, I'm probably not an indecent pilot, but she also trusts the machine. And we have been in turbulences together when she picked up the stick and was flying it. And she, you know, is not a certified pilot, but she takes the stick every once in a while, and she feels comfortable. So that is also a testimonial to the fact that the plane it's easy flying. It is very controllable. It's not noisy. So those are some of the attributes that I can give as a user to the plane. So that's why I bought it, actually.
Yeah. Okay, very good. Andreas, thank you very much. It's really exciting
for
plane,
interviewing
and
me.
hopefully we will see one day your production, and maybe we will even bring your clients.
You're always welcome to join us in our production facilities.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Well, this is the plane, so easy to get in. One step up here, left hand, turn around, and here we are.
Oh.
Very easy.
Initially, it was hard to believe that you would fit in, but you know, it looks like it's really.
No,
big.
it's. I've done that. I've done a calculation. I've done it about 700 times.
Okay.